did you see dominance from them?
I thought we got up to a great start. I thought our ball movement was phenomenal, 29 assists, and that was evident from early in the game. I thought first half defense was really good. I thought our second half, obviously, they scored 60 points. Our defense was not where it needed to be, but offensively, we had it going. I mean, Jamal Murray gets a career high. Will Barton starts, and he puts up, I think, 26. Nicola's stat line was a joke. So it was a lot of fun to watch those guys play and how unselfish they were.
How did you see Will Barton step into that starting role in 8 of 12 shooting, the efficiency tonight?
Yeah, he took advantage of it, that's for sure. You never want any of your players to go down, but as I've said many times, Allie, the beauty of our roster is how deep we are. And Gary goes down, and I just joked with him, Wally Pipp, all of a sudden, Will Barton comes out and gets 26, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, only 1 turnover. So I thought our starting backcourt tonight was phenomenal. And to go 5-1 on a homestand like this, I think is a great step in the right direction for us. And I have to make sure I give a shout out to our fans. That was another great atmosphere. Saturday night game or Friday, I don't even know what day it is anymore, but it was a hell of a crowd. And we really appreciate that, as well as all the veterans that were here tonight.
Yeah, Coach, when you sum up this homestand now, 5-1, you proud of where these guys are and the dominance you're showing at home?
Yeah, I think that's a sign of a team that is coming together. And obviously, if you want to be a playoff team, you have to win at home. That's just how it goes. And we want to be better than 22 wins, whatever we had last year. And to go 5-1 against some of the teams that we've beaten, I think is quite remarkable. Can't get satisfied. We have a division opponent on the road, and we have to keep this thing moving in the right direction.
Where did you improve most over the course of the entire homestand? Team, I should say.
Well, I tell you what, it was great to see 29 assists and only 13 turnovers tonight. We all know that turnovers and points off our turnovers have been one of our major Achilles heels. So I think that's something that is slowly getting better. But what I like is I think offensively we're starting to figure it out. You can see the confidence, the chemistry, the spacing, guys playing off of each other, and more importantly, guys playing for each other. And we have a lot of weapons, and obviously we had a great offense last year. Take some time to acclimate these new guys in the lineup, and a new player in Paul Millsap. But for me, Chris, I think you're starting to see us offensively find our rhythm and find our groove.
Speaking of rhythm and groove, Jamal Murray just came out in attack mode. Did you have to point him in that direction, or did he just come out looking at the score?
No, I'd say Jamal and I talk a lot. And he's a great kid. He always wants to listen and learn. And I talked to him after shooting around the other day. I said, listen, right now you're not shooting it consistently because you take a different shot all the time. I mean, if you want to be a shooter, you got to take the same shot every time. And I want to see you start being more disciplined with your shot. And the other thing I said is you got to be aggressive. I mean, Jamal Murray, passive, doesn't do us anything. And when Jamal Murray comes out, playing with pace, playing with aggression, looking for his offense, he goes out and plays, 32 points, 12 of 21, 6 of 9 from 3. And I think that's the Jamal Murray that we all fell in love with last year. And now the challenge is what? Consistency. Don't peaks and valleys. Let's try to be as consistent as we can. And that's a challenge for a 20-year-old in the very tough Western Conference.
There were a couple stretches there where you had Murray, Moutier, and Will Barton all on the floor at the same time. Just what does that give your offense when you kind of have really your 3-point guards on the floor at the same time?
Yeah, obviously with Gary out, we had to kind of change up our rotations a little bit. And having 3 playmakers and attack guys that can create their own shot, but also create for their teammates, that becomes really hard to guard. And I think all those guys did a great job. Emmanuel off the bench was, again, really fantastic. And then Jamal and Will Barton had just an unbelievable night. To get that many points out of your backcourt is amazing. But that's hard to guard when you got 3 guys that can create and break down the defense off the dribble.
2 things have been in this team over the last couple of years, and it's playing down to opponents at home, especially on back-to-backs like tonight, and then letting teams back into it. You hold the lead the whole time, you put the foot down in the fourth quarter, you finish this homestand. What does that say about the growth of this team, not only this year, but over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think so there's expectations on this team, and we have to manage those expectations, but we also have to understand if we want to be the team we all say we want to be, you have to win the games you're supposed to. You have to close teams out, and you can't give up leads. And that's one thing. We were able to, they cut it to whatever they cut it to in that fourth quarter, and that's one thing that probably has bothered me the most about this homestand is that we've gotten up big on a lot of teams, and we don't put them away. early enough. I think hope is a dangerous thing. When you give teams hope and let them hang around, a lot of crazy things can happen. But I think it's a sign of maturity. It's a sign of confidence, and it's a sign of guys starting to believe in what we're capable of doing.
Is it a good sign that Jamal's giving you the kind of offensive production that he did, and he's had nights like this, and he's not really he's not taking any possessions off on the other end defensively as well?
Yeah, and I think, I thought he was winded at the end. I mean, we played a lot of minutes tonight. Obviously, you look, all of our starters played heavy minutes, but I think Jamal's commitment to the defensive end of the floor has been a really bright spot for me. And he's not perfect all the time. There was a stretch where Jonathan Simmons was kicking our ass, and we weren't containing him enough, but I can see that he's embracing the challenge of guarding. He is making an effort to guard. He's committing to that end of the floor, and that's where it starts. You have to make that commitment. You have to want to defend, and I think we're seeing that with Jamal Murray. So, he's playing both ends right now, and obviously, again, consistency. Can he keep this going? That's our challenge.
What goes through your head when you see Nikola launch a one-footed three right in front of your bench there?
I know it's going in. It's funny. Nikola's one of those guys. He's got this great touch, and the shot clock is going down, and for him to step back one-legged and it just goes straight through. There's nothing he does that amazes me, because he's just that kind of a guy. And you look at his stat line tonight: 17 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 turnover. He's only at 12 points, so he's a remarkable player.
What about that lob, the half-court lob for the alley-oop?
Well, the pass, I don't know how good. It's like reminded me of Bobby Hurley's pass to Grant Hill back in the day, and it wasn't a great pass, but Grant Hill was so damn athletic he got it. That pass, I thought he had no shot at getting it.
Yeah.
You have to give Kent Free deserves all the credit on that, because he went up and he kept going up to get it. That was a remarkable play.
Even with the depth on this team, is this team better with a short rotation, with a tight rotation?
I ask myself that often, because trying to play 4 bigs, that's tough on Mason, it's tough on Kenneth. That's the only area where I think a rotation is kind of in flux. And I feel bad, because Mason's a heck of a player, and so is Kenneth. But I wonder am I doing both of those guys a disservice by trying to play them both? But I think ultimately 9 guys in a rotation is probably what most teams go with. Right now we're using 10, and hey, listen, I think we're 7-2 in our last 9 games. We just went 5-1 at home, so maybe it's working.
Juancho got in the game.
When this homestand started, you were last in the division. Now you're first. Minnesota losing tonight. Is that an indication of how crazy this division is going to be all season?
Yeah, well, and I think at some point we were last in our division with a 4-4 record. So, somebody asked me before the season started, is this the toughest division in the NBA? And I think it is, hands down. I think you have a lot of really deep and talented teams that are going to be there come playoff time. So, but it is. I mean, we can go from the bottom of the division and you win a couple of games, and all of a sudden you're on the top of the division. And we talked about the importance of getting off to a great start this year. And obviously, I would say that this is a pretty damn good start, especially in our longest homestand of the year, going 5-1.
Juancho got in the game.
Yes, Juancho got in the game, and that was more because I didn't want Wilson Chandler to collapse. I played those guys so many, because Juancho hasn't practiced, really done anything yet, so I was not going to play him meaningful minutes. That was just so we can get our starters out.
Thank you,
Coach.